amigos, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Jimena here from Glolistica, and if you're new, welcome. I am a nutritionist and mindset coach, and today we're going to be talking about carbohydrates. This is a more relaxed kind of video. Don't worry, I'm not going to give you a science class here. We're just going to be talking about carbohydrates, what they are, what they do to your body, and how to make the best informed choice out there. Now, before we start, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, click the bell so you can get notified when new videos come up, and let's get started. Okay, a lot of people hate carbohydrates. They're so afraid of carbohydrates. They don't eat carbohydrates, they don't touch carbohydrates. But what are carbohydrates? Carbohydrates are the sugars, fiber, and starches that you can find in plants, vegetables, nuts and seeds, fruits, legumes, whole grains. Almost everything has carbohydrates. Now, there are two categories of carbohydrates. We have simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates. And the difference between the two is the chemical structure. So when you see something that has the same amount of calories, let's say for example you see a cup of broccoli that has 50 calories and 3 M&Ms that have 50 calories. I'm just making things up. But when things have the same amount of calories, doesn't mean that they're going to be digested the same way because of their chemical structure. So simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates are differentiated based on their chemical bonds. Now, simple carbohydrates break down very quickly, and as their names say, they're simple, they're fast, they break down fast in your body. These are carbs like pasta, bread, candy, sugar. These are considered simple carbohydrates. Then on the other hand, we have the more complex carbohydrates that have fiber. So they're a little bit more complex to digest because of the fiber. And these can be whole grains, nuts and seeds, legumes, all of these are considered complex carbohydrates. Now, what is the role of carbohydrates in your body? So your body needs carbohydrates, especially your brain. Your brain loves carbohydrates. They provide energy to your body, and they're part of the 3 macronutrients, meaning the big nutrients that your body needs. We have protein, carbohydrates, and healthy fats. Those are your 3 macronutrients, meaning that you need to obtain these from your diet because your body cannot make them. Okay? Now, carbohydrates are broken down into glucose, and your liver converts these sugars into glucose, which is then carried into your cells by this hormone called insulin. Now, why do they kind of have a bad rep? Well, when you eat too many carbohydrates, you're bombarding your body with insulin, and in some instances, some people can get insulin resistance, something that is called insulin resistance. So what happens is, imagine you order pizza in your house. So you're waiting for the delivery guy, he knocks on the door, you open it, and it's like, oh my God, pizza! You're so happy about it, you eat your pizza, you get your cravings out of the way, and you're satisfied. Now imagine that this same delivery guy keeps coming and knocking on the door. Okay, more pizza, and you keep taking this pizza. There's gonna be a point where you're like, you know what, I'm sick of pizza, I cannot eat any more pizza, I'm just gonna ignore this delivery guy until he goes away. So the same happens with your cells. When you eat too many carbohydrates, your body has to convert them into glucose, and then this glucose is delivered by insulin. But your cells at some point are gonna reject that insulin and this glucose because there's too much stored in the cells already. So they're gonna reject it, and then that's when you can have issues like insulin resistance, diabetes, and things like that. So that's why that's why carbohydrates kind of have a bad rep. And also, the energy that you don't use gets stored as fat. Now, I'm not a super big fan of low carb diets because of the fiber intake. You need about 14 grams of fiber per every 1,000 calories that you eat. So if you're eating 2,000 calories, you need 28 grams of fiber, and you need good sources of carbohydrates to get this fiber. So complex carbohydrates are a great source of fiber, and when you are on a low carb diet, you're usually avoiding those. Plus, it's also very hard to maintain, especially if you're doing it the healthy way with a lot of whole foods. It is very hard to stay restricted to only leafy greens or things that are low carb. So that's why I'm not a big fan of them. I would rather have good sources of carbohydrates, like complex carbohydrates, throughout the day, and or even once a day. And also, when I do have the simple kind of carbohydrates, I try to let it go. No strings attached with simple carbohydrates, because in reality, it is almost impossible to never have simple carbohydrates. Life gets in the way. We have birthday parties, we have things to go to, we spend time with friends and family, and those involve usually simple carbohydrates. So it's important that if you have the simple carbohydrates, that you are aware that you're having them, and that you let it go and make better choices the next time. So simple carbohydrates are, again, your bread, pasta, cookies, sugar, cakes. Those are all simple carbohydrates. Your complex carbohydrates are more real whole foods, like fruits, vegetables, like sweet potatoes, butternut squash, carrots, beets. Those are complex carbohydrates. Also legumes, whole grains, things like that are considered complex carbohydrates. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions or if there's something that I missed, because there's so much information about carbohydrates. I'm sure we can all benefit from it. Share this video with a friend, someone that might benefit from this information. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well, and I will see you next time. Bye!